My beloved brothers and sisters, each new day that Allah grants us is a priceless gift, a fresh page in the book of our lives. When you open your eyes in the morning, do not think it is just another routine day. It is an opportunity to draw closer to the one who has given you life. And what better way to begin than with the Adhkar, the blessed words of remembrance that protect the heart, purify the tongue, and shield the believer throughout the day. When you start your morning with the remembrance of Allah, you are not merely uttering words. You are clothing your soul with protection, light, and tranquility. You are preparing yourself to face the challenges of the world with a heart anchored in the mercy of your Creator. Take a few moments every morning before you rush into work, school, or business and sit with your Lord. Recite Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illa Allah. Recite the du'as taught by the Prophet A for protection, forgiveness, and barakah in your day. These words open doors of peace in your heart, barakah in your provision, and safety for your family. Each morning that Allah grants us life is not something ordinary. It is a fresh blessing that many people do not even realize. When you wake up and open your eyes, you are not guaranteed that gift. Countless souls did not make it through the night, yet Allah chose you to see another dawn. This is why a believer must never treat the morning as just another routine. It is a reminder of Allah's mercy, a reminder that your purpose on earth is not yet complete, and a chance to rewrite the pages of your life with goodness. To begin such a precious gift without remembering the one who gave it would be an injustice to our own hearts. The morning is a moment of clarity, when your mind is fresh, your heart is lighter, and the distractions of the world have not yet consumed you. This is the time to pause and turn your thoughts to your Creator. When you acknowledge each morning as a gift, your entire perspective changes. Instead of rushing into the day with worry, stress, or endless tasks, you stop and thank Allah for granting you another opportunity to worship Him, to seek forgiveness, and to earn His pleasure. You realize that no matter what challenges are waiting for you in the hours ahead, you have already gained success by remembering the one in whose hands lies your provision, your health, your protection, and your happiness. The morning gift is not just the rising sun or the air you breathe. It is the invitation from Allah to start fresh, to cleanse yesterday's mistakes with today's remembrance, and to walk into the new day with renewed faith. Think about how many people wake up and their first action is to check their phone, scroll through messages, or dive straight into work. Their minds become crowded before their hearts have tasted peace. But the believer understands that the very first words, the very first breaths of the day should belong to Allah. A single Alhamdulillah as you wake up carries more weight than any news you will read, more blessing than any email you will send, and more reward than any worldly transaction. By starting your morning with remembrance, you are acknowledging that your life, your time, your energy, and your day are all gifts that belong to Allah. Every morning is also a reminder of the day of resurrection. Just as we sleep at night in a state close to death and rise again in the morning, so too will we be raised after death to stand before Allah. When you wake up and say the morning Adhkar, you are in fact training your soul to recognize that life is temporary and each day is a small resurrection. This makes you more conscious of your actions, more grateful for your blessings, and more mindful of your purpose. That is why our beloved Prophet taught us to begin the day with remembrance, because it frames the entire day in the light of faith, gratitude, and divine protection. My dear brothers and sisters, never underestimate the value of each morning. It is not just another sunrise, it is Allah personally granting you another chance to seek His mercy and earn His paradise. If you embrace this gift by beginning with adhkar, you transform an ordinary morning into a sacred moment that can set the tone for your entire day and ultimately for your entire life. When we speak about the importance of morning adhkar, one of the greatest benefits is that it serves as a shield, a protection for the believer from harm seen and unseen. The world we live in is full of challenges, dangers, and unseen forces. Just as you would never leave your home without clothing to protect your body, a believer should never step into the world without clothing their soul with the remembrance of Allah. Morning adhkar is like a spiritual armor, an invisible shield that guards your heart, your mind, and your actions throughout the day. There are forces we do not see, yet they exist. Shaitan works tirelessly to misguide, to whisper, and to lead the believer away from the path of Allah. Without remembrance, the heart becomes vulnerable, the mind becomes clouded, and the soul is left exposed to these attacks. But when you recite your morning adhkar sincerely, you are asking Allah to protect you, to guard you against the whispers of Shaitan, to keep you safe from envy, harm, and difficulties. The angels are commanded to guard you, the mercy of Allah surrounds you, and your day unfolds with divine care. Many of the adhkar taught by the Prophet are directly linked to protection. When you recite ayat, kursi in the morning, Allah appoints a guardian for you, and Shaitan cannot come near. When you recite the last verses of Surah Al-Baqarah, it is enough for your safety. When you say the morning dua as taught by Rasulullah, seeking refuge in Allah from harm, seeking His guidance, seeking His protection from the evil of creation, you are wrapping yourself in layers of spiritual security that no human eye can see. But the effect is real. Think of a soldier who goes into the battlefield. Would he dare to step into danger without armor, without a helmet, without his shield? The world outside is also a battlefield for your faith. There are temptations, distractions, trials, and hidden harms waiting. Morning adhkar is that armor. With it, you walk confidently, knowing Allah is protecting you. Without it, you expose yourself to dangers that can weaken your faith, harm your heart, and disturb your peace. But this protection is not limited to just physical harm. Morning remembrance guards your mind from anxiety, your heart from sadness, and your soul from restlessness. The moment you begin your day with Allah, your outlook changes. Problems that might have overwhelmed you seem lighter because you are carrying them with the remembrance of the one who controls every affair. Your heart finds tranquility because the promise of Allah is true. Verily, in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find rest. So, my brothers and sisters, never neglect this shield. If you recite your adhkar daily, even if it takes only a few minutes, you have built a fortress around yourself. You walk out of your home under the protection of Allah. Your steps are guided, your affairs are blessed, and your soul is safe. Without it, you may still face the same day, but you face it exposed, unprotected, and vulnerable. Choose to step out each morning with the shield of remembrance and watch how Allah protects and blesses every moment of your life. The beauty of the morning adhkar lies in their simplicity. The words are short, easy to memorize, and light on the tongue, yet with Allah they carry a weight that cannot be measured. When a believer says Subhanallah, they are declaring the perfection of Allah, free from any flaw or weakness. When they say Alhamdulillah, they are thanking Allah for every blessing, seen and unseen. When they say Allahu Akbar, they are reminding themselves that nothing is greater than Allah, no matter what challenges or worries they may face. And when they say La ilaha illa Allah, they are reaffirming their faith, strengthening the foundation of their entire existence. These are simple statements, but their effect on the heart and soul is more powerful than we can imagine. The Prophet taught us that such remembrances are beloved to Allah and are treasures of paradise. A single Subhanallah wa bihamdihi recited in the morning earns forgiveness for sins, even if they are as much as the foam of the sea. A few moments spent saying La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah brings divine strength, reminding us that no power or might exists except with Allah. These words do not require wealth, effort, or status. They require only a heart that is mindful and a tongue willing to utter them. In return, Allah opens the doors of mercy, Barakah and tranquility. We live in a time where people measure productivity by how many tasks they complete or how much money they earn. But in the sight of Allah, true productivity begins with the remembrance of Him. A person may spend hours working and achieve little in terms of peace, but someone who begins with a few words of adhkar may find their entire day blessed, their efforts multiplied, and their heart filled with calm. This is the unseen reward of remembrance. It brings ease in what is difficult, light in moments of darkness, and solutions to problems that seem impossible. The simplicity of adhkar also removes any excuse. No one can say they are too busy because a single Subhanallah takes only a second. No one can say they do not have the ability because remembrance requires no special knowledge or preparation. Whether you are walking, driving, sitting, or even lying down, the adhkar can be recited anywhere at any time. Yet despite their simplicity, their impact is far-reaching. The angels record them, the heart is softened by them, and Allah Himself remembers the one who remembers Him. These small words are also a constant reminder of our connection to Allah. In the rush of the world, the adhkar bring us back to what truly matters. They remind us that every blessing comes from Allah, every difficulty can be eased by Allah, and every success is only through Allah. They transform ordinary mornings into moments of worship and turn fleeting breaths into eternal rewards. So, my beloved brothers and sisters, do not underestimate these simple words. They are not just casual phrases. They are treasures. Fill your mornings with them, and you will find your life filled with barakah, your heart filled with peace, and your soul filled with light. What seems small on your tongue will be heavy on your scale of deeds on the day of judgment. One of the greatest secrets of morning adhkar is that Allah looks at the sincerity and consistency of the believer, not the length or quantity of what they recite. It is easy for someone to sit once in a while and read a long collection of du'as and remembrances, but then neglect it for days afterwards. What Allah loves most is steadiness, even if it is small. This is why the Prophet had told us that the most beloved deeds to Allah are those that are done consistently, even if they are few. The morning adhkar fit perfectly into this principle. If you recite even a handful of them every day with sincerity, they will have a lasting effect on your heart and your life, far greater than reciting pages occasionally without commitment. Think about how habits are formed. A person who takes a small step daily, like drinking water first thing in the morning, soon finds it becomes second nature. In the same way, if you begin with short adhkar every morning, it becomes a part of your soul's routine. It anchors you, it grounds you, and it becomes something you cannot live without. On the other hand, if you wait for the perfect time to recite long passages or lengthy duas, you may end up postponing it until you do nothing at all. Consistency beats intensity every time. This consistency also builds a strong spiritual foundation. Just as an athlete who trains a little each day becomes stronger over time, the believer who remembers Allah daily develops a resilient heart. The small drops of remembrance gather like rain, and soon they turn into a flowing river of faith that nourishes every part of your life. Even if your tongue is only saying Alhamdulillah or La ilaha illa Allah a few times each morning, these consistent acts accumulate in ways you may not realize. On the day of judgment, you will see mountains of reward for words you thought were too small to matter. Another blessing of consistency is that it keeps Shaitan away. When remembrance becomes a habit, Shaitan finds it difficult to penetrate your heart. He may distract you in many ways, but if your mornings always begin with Allah's name, you start your day under divine protection. Without consistency, your defenses are weak because your remembrance is irregular and your spiritual armor is not always in place. The one who recites a little every day is far stronger than the one who recites a lot occasionally. Consistency also softens the heart. When the heart is exposed daily to remembrance, it stays alive and connected. But if remembrance comes only once in a while, the heart becomes hard and forgetful. Just as the body cannot survive by eating once a week, the soul cannot survive by remembering Allah occasionally. It needs daily nourishment. The morning adhkar provide that nourishment in small, powerful doses. So, my brothers and sisters, do not look at how many adhkar you can recite at once. Look instead at how regularly you can recite them. If you can only begin with a few du'as and short phrases each morning, hold on to them firmly. Allah sees your effort, He knows your limitations, and He rewards consistency beyond what you can imagine. A steady drop of water can carve through stone, and in the same way, a steady stream of remembrance can carve out a path to Jannah. ChatGPT said, when a believer begins the day with the remembrance of Allah, the entire day unfolds with blessing, peace, and direction. This is one of the greatest secrets of the morning adhkar. They set the tone for everything that follows. The first moments after waking are powerful. They are like planting seeds in fertile soil. Whatever you plant at the start will grow throughout the day. If you begin with Allah, you invite Barakah into your time, your wealth, your relationships, and even your health. But if you neglect remembrance, you will notice your day is scattered, restless, and heavy, no matter how much you try to achieve. Think of the difference between a day started with adhkar and a day started without it. On the day you recite your morning remembrance, your heart feels lighter. The small problems of life seem easier to manage. You interact with people with more patience and compassion. Your work flows more smoothly, and even when difficulties come, you find strength to handle them. Why? Because you began your day by connecting with the one who controls all affairs. You entrusted your day to Allah, and He placed His blessing in it. On the other hand, when the morning passes without remembrance, the heart feels distracted, irritable, and restless. Tasks become burdensome, patience becomes short, and you find yourself overwhelmed by things that normally would not trouble you. This is the emptiness of a day that starts without Allah. The Prophet A himself would never neglect the morning adhkar, even though his time was filled with responsibilities far greater than ours. He taught his companions that these supplications bring protection, forgiveness, and success in the affairs of the day. They are like asking Allah to bless your journey before you even take the first step. Without that blessing, no matter how much effort you make, something will feel incomplete. With it, your smallest effort becomes fruitful and your heart remains at ease. There is also a deep psychological impact in starting with remembrance. When you begin with Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar, and the morning du'as, you are programming your mind with positivity and gratitude. You are reminding yourself that Allah is greater than every problem, that He deserves thanks for every blessing, and that He is free from all imperfection. This mental and spiritual state changes the way you face the world. Instead of fear, you begin with hope. Instead of anxiety, you begin with trust. Instead of negativity, you begin with gratitude. This inner state carries you through meetings, studies, family interactions, and challenges with calm and confidence. But when a person forgets Allah in the morning, the heart remains thirsty. The day feels long, empty, and unsatisfying. This is why many people complain of stress and heaviness despite having comfort and wealth. They are missing the barakah that only remembrance can bring. True peace does not come from what is in your hand, it comes from what is in your heart. And that peace begins with remembering Allah at the start of your day. So, my brothers and sisters, make it a principle for yourself. Never step into your day without first turning to Allah. Even a few minutes of adhkar can transform your day from chaos to calm, from emptiness to fulfillment, and from weakness to strength. The one who begins with Allah finds Allah with them until the end of the day. And the one who forgets Allah at the start will find the day slipping away without meaning. Choose the path of remembrance, and you will find your entire life filled with blessing and tranquility. The way you begin your day determines how you will live through it. And one of the most powerful lessons of morning adhkar is that Allah should come before everything else. Too often, the first thing people do when they wake up is reach for their phone, scroll through social media, check their messages, or rush to their work. Their heart is immediately filled with the noise of the world, and before they even leave their homes, they are already burdened with stress, comparisons, or distractions. But the believer understands that the very first priority of the morning is to connect with the Creator, not the creation. Before looking at who messaged you, look towards the one who gave you life. Before running to your worldly responsibilities, fulfill your responsibility to the Lord of the worlds. Morning adhkar are designed to remind us where our true focus should be. By reciting them before engaging in worldly matters, we place Allah at the center of our day. This is not just a formality, it reshapes our entire mindset. When you begin with Allah, every task that follows is framed in light of that connection. Your work becomes an act of worship. Your studies become a means of seeking His pleasure, and even your interactions with people become infused with sincerity and kindness. On the other hand, if you begin with worldly distractions, you are starting your day with a heart already occupied, and it becomes harder to reconnect with Allah later. The wisdom in prioritizing adhkar early is also linked to the purity of the morning hours. At that time, your mind is clear, your heart is calm, and the world has not yet overwhelmed you. It is like a blank canvas. What you place on that canvas first will shape the entire picture. If you paint it with the remembrance of Allah, the rest of the picture will be guided and blessed. But if you fill it with the distractions of dunya, the picture will remain chaotic and scattered. That is why the Prophet encouraged the morning adhkar specifically at this time to set the right foundation for the day before anything else intrudes. Making remembrance your first priority also protects you from the trick of shaitan. He wants you to delay, to postpone, to think, I will do my adhkar later when I have more time. But we know how the day passes. Tasks pile up, distractions multiply, and before you know it, the day is gone. By giving Allah your first moments, you defeat Shaitan's plan and secure your shield for the entire day. Even if your morning is busy, even if you have only a few minutes, give them to Allah before giving them to anyone else. And there is another blessing. When you put Allah first, He puts Barakah in everything else that follows. The time you thought was too short becomes enough. The tasks you thought were overwhelming become manageable. And the heart you feared would be restless finds peace. This is the secret of prioritizing adhkar before the world. It is a declaration that Allah is greater than every message, every meeting, and every worry. So my brothers and sisters, let us build this habit. Before you pick up your phone, pick up the remembrance of Allah. Before you step into the noise of the day, step into the peace of adhkar. Give Allah your first breaths, your first words, your first moments. If you do this consistently, you will see how your entire life begins to revolve around Allah, and that is the greatest success a believer can have.